Rose Island is not actually an island, but a peninsula created by the 14-mile creek emptying into the Ohio River. This peninsula is known as the Devil's Backbone. Before it was developed, the location was known as Fern Grove, and it was host to church outings. In 1923, a man named David Rose purchased the property and made the area into an amusement park. During the park's heyday, it could be accessed by footbridge or via ferry. In its prime, the park hosted a dance hall, Indiana's first concrete swimming pool, a small zoo with a bear named Teddy Roosevelt, a derby track, a Ferris wheel, a roller coaster, and many other activities.
The Great Flood of 1937 washed it all into the river, leaving behind only fragments of what once was.
All right, Steve, for our viewers out there, tell us exactly where we're going here.
We're going to Rose Island, an abandoned, over 100-year-old amusement park.
It's in the middle of the state park back here. You have any lore or anything behind this place?
Well, it has Indiana's first swimming pool, no longer in use, and some really strange shit that I can't quite confirm yet.
Well, I guess we'll have to figure that on our own then. Oh, we're on the road to Rose Island. Road to Rose Island. We're on the road to Rose Island. So you can see it's a beautiful day outside today here in southern Indiana. We're at Charlestown State Park, going to the abandoned amusement park, which is known as Rose Island. There is some legends surrounding the area that we'll talk about when we get there. Aside from that, stay tuned. We have got quite the walk ahead of us still. We just went down a huge incline, and going back up is probably going to be rough, but you know what it is, anything for the spooky.
During World War II, the property became part of the Indiana Army ammunition plant. Then, in 1995, the state of Indiana created Charlestown State Park, a 2,400-acre recreation area, including 860 acres donated by the U.S. Army, and what was known as the Rose Island Amusement Park. During the heyday of the park in the early 1900s, there were two ways visitors could access Rose Island, either by automobile or by steamboat. Those who drove could park alongside 14 Mile Creek, then, for 25 cents, walk across the swinging suspension bridge to enter Rose Island. Those visitors who arrived via the Ohio River would walk through the large iron gates at the opposite end of the park.
I played on that swinging bridge
I think it's a Bigfoot hut. What do you think that's the remainder of? Almost looks like a potential, maybe like an old fire pit or something.
Like a kiln, maybe?
Maybe a kiln, yeah.
We'll go with Bigfoot Hut.
We'll go with Bigfoot Hut for now.
That's super fucking interesting.
That is interesting. Well, it looks like we found the dance hall.
Dance hall, Bigfoot Hut,
Dancing Bigfoot?
Dancing Bigfoot.
Right now we're taking a path to a abandoned swimming pool that was here in Rose Island. Preferably, might have been Indiana's first swimming pool, if I recall correctly. But we're just gonna pop over here and take a look at the swimming pool that has now been filled in with gravel, it seems. Abandoned swimming pool. Filled up with gravel, I'm assuming to keep anybody from falling in. So guys, just a little bit about Rose Island. Rose Island was set up around the early 1900s. Rose Island was a host for people to come, relax, take a swim, go to the dance hall. It was just basically a really low-key amusement park out here in the middle of southern Indiana in Charleston. Right now, as you can see behind me, is the abandoned swimming pool, or what was left of the swimming pool. I heard rumors of this place as a kid, but now they've actually got a trail leading to it, so it's cool to come down here and check it out. What were you saying, Steve?
Indiana's first swimming pool.
First swimming pool.
We can't swim in it now.
No, obviously we can't take a swim, and I'm pretty disappointed. It's kind of hot out here. But we're gonna explore some more of Rose Island, and we'll keep you updated as we go along, see if we find anything interesting. So it seems that apparently one point in time in this area there was a cottage here. People probably slept and ate at. Maybe they got together with their friends, who knows? Overlooking the Ohio River. Right here it looks like you can see a little bit of the foundation of a cottage that stood. What this foundation was for, we don't know, but it looks like it definitely was attached to the cottage that was in the area, and the original cement is still there. Walkway of Roses. What do they say?
Some sort of like, I don't know, going through like old archways. Like you could go into another dimension or some shit. Maybe.
If only we'd have that much luck.
Yeah, let's go back to the timeline where they didn't shoot Harambe.
R.I.P. Harambe. Another place where there used to be a hotel standing up here for Rhode Island for people in their getaway. Obviously it's not here anymore, and nature's really ran its course on this place, but at some point in time in this area there was a hotel.
You can tell where the flood of 37, they have all these markers. That's as high as the water got.
In 37 it looks like the water got way up there, so maybe it was even the flood that decimated this place.
It was. That's from what I was reading. The flood of 37 is what put everything out of commission.
So the flood is what destroyed the park, but as you can see up there, just from ground to top, that the water was extremely high and probably washed away a lot of things that were here.
My dad was head of security. Me, my sister, my mother, and father lived at one end of the old hotel. There was a family from Kentucky who lived in the other end. I remember when the boat would come in. Mother said I would go under the bed when I heard the whistle.
Research uncovered 2 stories about the history of the hotel. One version is that Mr. Rose modernized the old Fern Cliff Hotel and renamed it the Rose Island Hotel. Another story was that Mr. Rose painted the hotel in dark green and made it a home for his employees.
So just to go into the Great Flood of 1937, here you can see that 70% of Louisville was underwater. Following weeks of heavy rains, the Ohio River swelled over its banks in the Great Flood of 1937. Ranging from Pittsburgh to Cairo, Illinois, the flood is considered one of the most powerful of the 20th century. Louisville was hardest hit among Ohio River cities. The Great Flood of 1937 destroyed Rose Island Amusement Park, covering it in 10 feet of raging water. Though the park was closed when the flood occurred, Rose Island never reopened. The Weather Bureau reported the flood damage in Kentucky alone was $250 million, an incredible sum and amount in 1937. Down here is another part of the island. We've got 3 stone columns, which appears to be that this could have been maybe like a boat landing now that I think about it. Maybe a lookout, but there's locks on them. I'll show you. It looks like right here is a master lock that was put by someone, but it looks like this very well could have been either like maybe like a gated entrance back in the day, or perhaps even like a boat ties for larger boats, since there's a river down there. But as you can see, we're right on the shoreline of the Ohio. Rose Island sits right on the bank of the Ohio over here, and the flood came straight from this river all the way up there to Rhode Island and pretty much decimated this park back in the day. You got anything to add to that?
It's the levee.
The levee?
Yeah, that's what this is.
Oh, it's a levee. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. Huh?
Figured it out. It says it right there.
Where at? Oh, so it was the levee. Well, you know.
And I didn't even bring my Chevy.
It's the face of a man that forgot his Chevy. So we found this sign that obviously had something on it, some kind of notice board. It says, doesn't look that old. Looks like it's definitely weathered, but it's not attached to anything in the ground. It's just kind of here. So we'll respect the place, leave it back where it was. But just interesting to find a sign that we have no idea what it was leading for. It's not attached in the ground. Probably weather took it out, but
Probably was
sign.
just an old park sign.
Probably an old park sign though, you're right. There's a lot of legends in this place. One consisting of, before it was Fern Valley and then converted into Rose Island, it was originally known as the Devil's Backbone, which apparently means a land possessed by the devil.
Well, that was the legend.
That was a legend, of course. I mean, legends predate us a long time. Legends have been around for centuries in all cultures and places. But originally, very originally, called the Devil's Backbone.
So we got
So it's a little eerie in itself.
Backbone, Welsh skeletons, something about the Aztec chief Montezuma living here for some reason, just having a war with the Welshmen, the Moon-Eyed people. There's that.
So there's also a legend that I was filled on earlier. So go ahead and take it away about the Moon-Eyed people.
So a lot of people think that there are mounds, there are structures here that people attribute it to the Native Americans, people attribute it to the Welsh explorer, but neither one of them built it, built these ancient ruins. And the Native Americans said, yeah, they were here before we were here. The Moon-Eyed people, which are giants, that live in caves, they're the ones who built them. Whatever that means, I don't know.
Could the Devil's Backbone have been home to giants?
Giants.
We might not never know.
So an interesting thing about some of these trees around here, you'll notice that one, this one, and especially that one, they've all got this spiral pattern to them. I've heard that Native Americans used to bind trees as saplings so that they could use them as markers, like trail markers for hunting paths and all that. And like that tree right there is like bent that way. It was probably all done on purpose by the Native Americans to mark this location as an area to hunt game. So that's interesting.
After our exploration of Rose Island, we were left with more questions than answers. The speculative history, the strange legends, the once expansive park eroded away by the violence of nature.